They pray for an end to their suffering. Their hearts crave knowledge, wisdom. Their minds crave the power that will take them back into this galaxy. But the time for that is over. The time now is for all of mine to stand.
Treyway, these niggas said it hurted me, I ain't heard of you. Get the fuck up on my fucking face before I murder you. Bitch niggas always drinking blood, but I know they fool. Whole squad full of fucking killers, I'm a killer too. Set it, shot, nigga. Everybody get pop, nigga. The big ol' run, nigga. We set it, shot, nigga.
Good morning to all of my visionaries. Good morning. I want you to take a look around. Look around at the entertainment that's being given to the world from artists in New York. Innovations that are coming from many in the technological field and in the engineering sector from New York. Look at the businesses that are coming from New York. You see, I really enjoy the more complicated channels talking about the Mandela effect. Because they actually start to talk about CERN and D-Wave and quantum mutation, and they like to throw a lot of phrases around that. I'm not pretty sure they totally understand the ramifications or the justifications of these newfound concepts. But they are newfound concepts. Trust me. Thought itself is being perpetuated here in New York. Now, since we are in the kingdom of Pazuzu and not just the principality, I want to try and have sort of a creative conversation, but also a frank one. Because frankly, the time for symbolism and playing mind games is kind of over. It's over. Things are being laid plain to both the human eye and the artificial eye. You see, I left a comment on a channel I was watching a few days ago, talking about how the real reality is actually very disgusting. How the sweet old lady that you know in your neighborhood who's so nice goes to the grocery stand and steals some fruits and vegetables every now and again. But because surveillance cameras are being submitted onto the internet now, private security camera feeds, you can go to a website and just look at anyone's house feed, the store, the front entrance, anything. It's all a part of the public domain. Therefore, when you see people make these spooky movements, they do these weird things, the camera picks it up, just watches. What is this? And trust me, as many YouTubers who are narcissistic and very caught up within their own vibration, I know what the camera sees me do, especially in my city. Where the forefront of quantum knowledge is being pushed forth from here, from 3 or 4 miles away from me. The precipice of all of this Mandela effect nonsense that half of you idiots are running around on the internet perpetuating some foolishness to get your own clout. That's the disappointing part of this Mandela effect nonsense. That you're taking your bad memory and bad judgment and putting your psychosis on the internet. But you see, like I said, the more advanced channels, they're actually using this Mandela effect conspiracy, and they're using it as a way to teach you something that you might not have thought about learning. Those Mandela effect channels I appreciate. But some of these channels, You should be ashamed of yourself. And for weaving in your spirituality to the nonsense, you should be twice ashamed of yourself. People see my channel. People have seen the inside of my channel. They know that I do this out of my will to live here. Out of my drive for living in one of the most impactful cities in this current time period. Look at the entertainment. Do you see some of these artists? Have you ever heard of these 6ix9ine and Fetty Wap and everything? The quantum speculation perpetuates itself and permeates itself to all those who are within a 100-mile radius. Right from such a tiny island. I'm from the smallest island in the world. It's a real shit show. And it will never be taken away from me. You see, when Aleister Crowley wrote this cursed Necronomicon here in New York, he did something to the world. Now, when I begin to break that book down and purify it into the Visionomicon, that's when the fun will begin. It will begin again for me then. It's time for a teacher to put down his teacher's hat and go back out into the wilderness and use the lessons and apply them. Do you see what is being created in the world through New York, through the quantum computer, through D-Wave? The antiparticles that they are trying to accelerate do not wish to be here. Therefore, when it stems into the music, when it stems into the food, when it stems into the air, when it stems into all facets of what humans call life, it's going to give it a dark reflection. Now, I want you to do your homework. I want you to look up some of these artists, some of these little gangsters, and understand that this futuristic lifestyle that everyone fears will never come to fruition. Because there are people in the urban areas and in the ghettos who don't know anything about what you're talking about. They come and go from hospitals. They feed these scientists the most exotic data. Dreams come true in New York. But what if your dream is a nightmare? That's going to come true too. So what if you're some prostitute from Milwaukee and you just want to come to New York and sleep with men all day? You could sleep with 100 men every single day. Forever. Is this what you so desire? You need to watch the throne. And in New York, everything stems from what we do here. And if you know anything about quantum mutation and variance, then you know that the qubits will always will themselves to numbers that are willfully here. You cannot derive any, how to describe it? The data that you collect, that you must isolate and eliminate from your greater hypotheses, that data will never be generated into anything that makes sense or that matters. It will stay in the isolation of those qubits. You understand? That's another conversation. Maybe we'll return back to the kingdom of Pazuzu. I do have to explain why it's called Pazuzu, but pretty sure if you're familiar with the writings of Crowley, idiocy in his sigils, then you understand that this all stems back to that deity. Things that when the Roman government decided, okay, we're going to put together our government, we need our God, we're going to fashion these to be our God. If we don't consider these our God, then all these are the devils. These will be our devils. They just picked other religions, gods, and said these are the devils. You don't know the true devils. That we're going to put together our government and decide which gods are acceptable and which gods from other cultures that we're trying to downplay or suppress, we'll turn all their gods into demons. You see, this power that Jesus Christ, quote unquote Jesus Christ, brought into the world, the government always looked on it, always noticed it. Government is much deeper than any religious book could try and. You have to understand, when a culture gets to a height of civilization that they're able to create religion, so much peace has to be in play. Oh man, how could I even break that down? So much peace has to be in play in order for any civilization. Religion is not some divine gift. Religion takes luck. It takes a deeper understanding of spirituality, and it takes a lot of misconception and misinterpretation. This is why a lot of people nowadays are rejecting all forms of religion. It's because inside of themselves they know that it's something deeper that no one house of religion can ever put into a box and put into a book or try to explain. You see, but as I said, thought is being progressed in New York. Thought itself. The very streets I walk. How powerful is your will? All those who run around talking about, oh, I'm woke and I understand about manifesting your destiny and so what about me? What about my will, my destiny? Look at everything that goes on in New York. Look at my channel. See me. See what I'm trying to accomplish here. The governments have always had an eye on those type of people. Like Yeshua de Nazareth and Muhammad. Look at the political things that were going around their lives. You sit here with some pre-made Bible put together, by a whole bunch of artists and government entities, and you say, oh my goodness, this is a gift from God. But when the Roman government saw this death of Jesus as a gift, they said, first we'll make it into a fantasy. He never existed. Then we'll take everything that he did and turn it into something that we help manifest. We'll tell the story. We'll pick the characters and the players. The Bible would have you believe that the Jews mustered themselves up and decided, let's kill Jesus tonight. That's what the book would make you think, right? But Pontius Pilate washed his hands. That was for a reason. Pontius Pilate being a government official who had the power to say, you Jews go home and leave Jesus alone. But then people get caught up in religion and scriptures, and they get caught up in making videos about one single word in some book in Isaiah. And they go on for hours and hours and hours. When is your spirit going to start speaking? This entire time, my spirit has been speaking into this channel. And I try to play, do my little claw machine videos and my little teddy bear collections and things that I find sweet and precious to me. But that's not what you want. You want portions of my spirituality. So I have a deal. Those who wish to amplify their spirituality, give a portion of your spirit to me. Let me magnify it. When Jesus called Peter out onto the water and said, come walk with me on this water, did you think that you would have the faith to step off the boat? Did you not? Where are those who are great in faith? Magnify me now.